Well, hello everyone and welcome to the
Hello.
Engourdi Q&A panel. My name is Lauren McCullum. I'm an actress, writer, and producer based in Dallas, Texas. And today we have a treat for you all. We have the cast of the film, okay? Look at these beautiful faces. Give them a hand.
Hey, hey.
Okay, so let's start it off. So in the role of Patrick, we have Tyrone Rigney. How are you doing?
I'm good, Lauren. How are you?
I'm doing good. You look great. Your skin is glowing. Love the smile.
Thank
Nice
you.
to know you're doing good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so in the role of Bryce, we have Isaiah Finley. Isaiah, what's up? How are you?
Hey. I'm good.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see
The
you
writer
too.
and the director, Gary Perot Jr. How are you
Hello.
doing, sir, my good friend?
I'm good. I'm good. You're doing, oh my goodness, you're so amazing. Hello.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Put my
really
hand.
embodying this.
No,
Yes.
well, nice to see you. I'm glad you're doing well.
Thank
Our
you.
writer, director of photography, Maya Brown, the bang. I'm loving it.
Hey,
Yeah, the
Loving it.
bang. I had to give it to y'all
Hey.
just a
How are
little
you
bit.
doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Of course. All right. Who's next? Okay, the film composer Andrew Asamakai.
Close. You were close though.
I was close. Okay,
the
I knew I was gonna butcher it.
goat.
I'm sorry.
The goat.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. The day is going good. I can't complain. I can't complain. Thanks for asking. All right, and last but certainly not least, my fave out of the group. No, I'm kidding. We have the boom
Hey.
operator,
Hey.
Ryan Cameron. How are you doing, ma'am?
I am doing good, Lauren.
Wow, Ryan,
Thank
the
you for asking that question.
energy's kind of low, but it's all right. We just started, so we'll get it up a little bit. Okay, let's get
Oh
into
my
these
God.
questions. Do y'all have anything to say before I continue?
No, I said it before, but I just want to say thank you all for being here. And also, Lauren, thank you for doing this as well. Thank you,
Of
thank you,
course.
thank you.
I'm proud of y'all. We'll get into it, but it's amazing. I love your work. Okay, so we're gonna start with some questions from some fans. Well, I guess I won't call them fans, but people who loved your work. The first question is, what was your favorite memory on set? And for Andrew, what was your favorite moment working on the project? Any of y'all can go first.
Not
Lauren?
I would.
Okay. I'll go first. I'll go first. I'll go Okay. first. I think my favorite moment on set was probably no, actually, my favorite moment on set was when so we filmed it at an Airbnb, and the lady who actually stayed there, she actually brought in like a bottle of wine to actually say, thank you guys for being here. What you guys are doing is just so amazing. It's going to mean a lot to people. And I think that just really it really humbled me, and it made me kind of like realize that, film is very much, it's sometimes I feel like when you're working on a film, you get so bottled down in like the actual work, and like you kind of like you forget about how much your film can actually move people, and the things that your films can say, and how it can affect people. I think that was one of my favorite moments from the actors doing this project as well.
You made some good points. I love that. I almost teared up. The next person, Maya, like you want to speak?
Oh, okay. I just on sets, I love this set particularly. I just love the energy everybody brought to the project and just the positivity and the love that we had immediately. We had only met each other like twice at that point, and just us getting together and be able to bank. And I always like those moments where the whole team is problem solving and everybody is able to put in input. And I feel like we had that moment on set where we're all just like, man, okay, we can do X, Y, and Z. And all of us agreed on it, and all of us found that it worked and it helped. So I always enjoy those moments, and I feel like I really got to experience that on the Engourdi set.
Oh, I love that. I feel like energy is so important. Like everyone to be
Of
on the
course.
same page and just trying to help each other collaborate. So that's great that y'all had that.
Yes, I have to second that, Maya. These angels from the heavens above made this experience so enjoyable. Like literally, like we didn't know each other at all. I met Ryan, I met Gary, I met Maya once, I met Isaiah one time, and like it was just chemistry. That's the only way I can describe it. It was just, I can't pinpoint one particular moment because the entire experience was just so, it was perfect. It was like
It was out of a movie.
Literally, I love it.
I wasn't able to like meet everybody, so this is like my first time seeing everybody. But I think my favorite moment would have to be like the first time me and Gary actually talked about the film, and he like showed me his vision, and I really got to see kind of like the intimate side of just like the thought process and just how much this project really meant to him, and it just made making the music even like easier.
Also, another thing really quick, I just want to just say is that one of my favorite moments just kind of working with Andrew is just the fact that like we do this thing where we kind of like we go back and forth about like songs that we may have not heard and stuff like that, and we kind of like play a game where like when we play a song, you're like, have you heard the song before? I'm like, no, and like we just do it back and forth, and it's just so great. It's so much fun.
Every time we like FaceTime or Zoom, I'll quiz them on like film music. So it'll be like
Right.
the Indiana Jones theme, and I'll just play it. I'm like, all right, what film is this from? And then
right.
Like,
I'm like, oh wait, I know this. Right.
That's dope.
I guess like my favorite, I have like an actual like favorite. So,
Yeah.
like we were out. It was the very first scene. We were outside shooting. It was me, Gary, Maya, and Isaiah. And Gary said the lady lived on the property, and so I was facing the house, and all of a sudden I started to move out the corner of my eye, and it was a dog. And if you know me, I don't like dogs whatsoever. So like I'm running out the corner of my eye. I see Tyrone was in the scene. Tyrone is standing by the door, looking at everything going on, and he sees me freaking just standing there like. And I'm like, were you gonna do anything? And he was like, no, I don't like other people's dogs. And so I was, wow.
That dog was so nice. That dog was so nice. I was playing outside with the dog.
Listen, Ryan, I'd be afraid of people's dogs too. Like I'm just like, I'm not afraid of dogs, but I'm afraid of other people's dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So
I get that. I get that.
I'm gonna be inside. I'm gonna watch from the inside.
Right.
Yeah, no, I wasn't feeling that.
I would say for me, there wasn't particularly like a moment where it was like my favorite moment, but I just remember coming onto the set, and for me personally, I've never been on a set with all black cast, yet alone, black women behind the camera, and that was pretty important for me, I would say, because it just immediately, as soon as we talked about it, I mean, it was just like that energy that you felt where we were all just comfortable. There was no really trying to figure each other out. At least in my opinion, it just felt like we all had knew each other for so long, even though it was only our second meeting, So for me, that was just really important. And again, the energy itself, as soon as I got on set, it was amazing because we all just felt comfortable around one another.
100%.
Love that. It seems like y'all are all on the same page. Y'all felt the same love.
Yes, it's all love.
Love.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything on that question before I continue? Okay, on to the next. Okay, so the next question is, who or what inspired you all to get into film? I know that's kind of a broad question, but
so who or what inspired me to get into film? I can't really say like who or what. Like I can't say like one thing that inspired me to get into film, but I will say though that I know that I've always been interested in film and interested in just kind of just like creating. I always tell people that like the main movies that I watched when I was like really young that really kind of like started that interest in it was The Others with Nicole Kidman, Friday with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker, and Spy Kids by Robert Rodriguez. Those were the three films. Yeah. Isn't that movie amazing? Listen, yes. No, but those were like that. Those three films were just like the ones that did it for me. And just ever since then, I've just been enthralled by it. I just can't see myself doing anything else. This is just something that I just have a really, really big hunger for, just to keep telling stories and just to keep expanding and learning more about myself. And even just film itself, like just directing has made me into a better person. And so, yeah.
That's beautiful. I guess going off of that, it's pretty much the same thing. sometimes you can't really pinpoint like an exact moment, but you can really do a feeling. And I guess that feeling was when I first was able to watch A Different World, and also the movie Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey. Those two together really kind of opened my eyes, and I figured out that this was actually a possibility for a little Black girl to do, and we can do it well, and I can make it what I want to see. So that over the broad spectrum of the whole industry really opened my eyes to this field.
Yes. I love that answer.
Yeah, I'll let you tear it up a little bit.
For real, that was deep. I don't even want to speak after that.
Right.
Like, I'm about to say some nonsense. But let me go ahead. So when I first saw Jurassic Park, I remember when I was little, I really wanted to be a dinosaur. And when I discovered I can't actually be a dinosaur, I decided maybe I could pretend to be one. And then when I was a little older, I saw Girl Interrupted with Angelina Jolie. And I just thought, like,
excellent.
It's such a good movie.
It was so just like visceral, just so like raw. I just felt like, wow, I want to do that. Like, so I started researching and figuring out what do actors do? How do they train? Start doing all that. And then I saw Monster with Charlize Theron in it. Like, and then I became even more obsessed. Like, how do they prepare to do things like this? So I just like became kind of obsessed with like biofilms and like really intense, like how people prepare for roles like that and stuff. So then I was like, maybe I should like take a class or something. So that's how I got into acting and stuff.
Nice. That's awesome.
Well, as far as like film music, I was always into music, and I couldn't sing or rap with my friends, so I was like, you know what, I'll make the beats. And I heard Danny Elfman's Spider-Man, like the original Tobey Maguire, and I went down the rabbit hole of just like film music. But it wasn't until I heard Hans Zimmer's Batman Begin,
Yes, sir.
and I was like, oh man, I gotta make this. This is what I want to make. And then by that time, I was like graduating high school, so I spent all my graduation money on like kind of like the gear that you need to start making like film music, and never looked back. Keeps me up at night. I love it. So
I have such stories. I just
come on now, you got a story.
Come on now.
I don't like, it wasn't like never a moment. I just like, I always watched too many movies and too many TV shows. Like, I was too into Disney Channel as a kid. Like, That's So Raven, Cheetah Girls, all that was like all I watched. But I started like YouTubing like behind the scenes stuff for like how people like made TV and stuff. And I was like, this is pretty cool. It was like nothing that I expected, and it was just cool seeing the audio person or like the lighting person and the director. And I was like, I think I kind of want to do that. And so my last, I think it was senior year, I got to AV class, and then it was cool. I had so much fun in it. I decided to major in it, and that's when I decided, all right, this is what I want to do, and I'm pretty good at it. So yeah.
Hey.
Excellent.
For me, I would say it was just like it seemed like a series of like events and moments that just led up to it. I never told myself I would be an actor or be involved in film. It was just more so kind of God leading the way. I always joke with my friends that it would probably stem from like my mom taking me to the wrong type of movies or to go see the wrong type of movies when I was like 5, 6, and 7 years old. And I have those memories of watching horror films, watching, all types of films, even when I was 5 and 6, because my mom would just take me there. So from then on, just like going through, life, essentially, it just kind of always drawn to me, just like you had said, Ryan, I always caught myself just looking up behind the scenes stuff, looking up stuff when nobody really had to tell me to. And then at some point, I just got to the point where it was like, if you're doing that thing that no one has to tell you to do, where you're just pushing towards your passion, it's like, why not go towards it? Why not follow that path? So I just kind of took that initiative, and I'm glad I did, because I got to meet some beautiful souls.
I love it.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay, well, you all explained, how you got into film and how much you love it and it's your passion. So let's kind of just transition over to the actual film. What got you into the film? What made you want to be a part of this? What drew you to this? Was it the script? What was it that drew you to this specific film?
So essentially in the beginning of just creating this film, I was really just interested in the films of the 60s, the French films of the 60s, the like 400 Blows and what was another film? Breathless, and just like the Francois Truffaut films. And actually, I just realized that I was telling Maya the other day that I found out there was like this collection of these of the 400 Blows, of the little kid in the 400 Blows, Antoine Duanel. There's like a collection of just like his entire life, and it's just like of him growing up, and it's so interesting. But I was really interested in those types of films in the beginning. And I was also watching just the Robert Drew films, you know, of JFK and everything like that. And I was just trying to figure out, okay, how could you make something like that? How can you make something that's like as realistic as those films, where it doesn't feel like it's acting. You're just catching something as it's happening. And this was also at the exact same time as the George Floyd incident as well. And I wanted to be able to use my voice, use my art to speak out against just what was happening and how I felt, because I was just feeling very, there was just so many different feelings during that time. And I was learning so much about, I was learning so much about myself, and I was learning so much about myself, and learning so much just about how the way the world works. And I feel like one thing about it was just like me trying to ask, I guess maybe me writing the script was me trying to ask myself, or no, maybe ask myself questions, and maybe try to get some answers through the film about who I am, or just how, you know, where do I fit in, and where do Black men fit into this world, and how do Black gay men fit into this world, and how do we maneuver. And so that's how I got into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Hello. I guess for me, Gary is really big on diversity on his sets, especially in the role of his DP. And I felt like it was just a really good moment to reached out to me and asked me to be a DP. I've never been a DP on a set before. And this would be my first project outside, my first professional project outside of college after graduation. And it just felt like, after reading the script and sitting down and talking to him, and just really banking off of each other, our ideas and stuff, it just really felt like a very important project, especially, like he said, with the time that we were living in and all of the nonsense going on. Even now, it just felt like something that would really touch people's souls and people's hearts. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, mine's not as long as eloquent as Gary said, but
yes, it is.
That's it. That's the one.
Like, I have to say, like, to bounce off of Gary, like, I really felt like drawn to the two just the premise of two gay characters, and with all the nonsense that was going on at the time, two gay Black characters is what initially, I have to say, that was just what really brought me in. Like, I just, like, obviously that just was like something I wanted to do. But I think just when I got the script and was able to read more of Gary's idea about like how we are desensitized to racial violence in the world and how it just becomes our reality, like that was another layer that I almost felt like now in hindsight that I was like not, it wasn't even like something that I was able to deal with in that moment. Like initially it was just like, I feel like I could probably relate to this character. I'm gay, I'm Black, you know, this will be interesting to explore something like this. But like, as far as like the elements of the injustices that were just like pounding us and during the summer, like I felt like I now that I'm thinking about it, I really didn't even want to like and I think that it was almost like fate, if I can say that. I don't know what y'all believe in, but I felt like this was fate, that I was with this group of people, this group of Black, young, talented, creative people telling this story. And I feel like I'm better for it, honestly. So yeah, that's what drew me in initially, just his writing, Gary's great writing.
Thank you. And your amazing acting as well.
I'll have to say, I think what initially drew me in was just Gary's passion. Like when we first had the, he hit me up and said that he had a film that, and wonder if I was interested. And we talked about it, but just from that first initial FaceTime, like I just heard, like it was just so, I just heard his passion through the phone, and just how much it really meant to him, and just the love of film that he has. And it really sparked something to me that, that made me even more passionate about the film and really wanted to work on it. So I think that would be mine.
Gary had, I was out one day, he had was text, like if Gary texts, you know how he texts you like back to back to back to back.
Not you outing me.
All caps.
Not y'all outing me. Not y'all outing me.
And I was out and he had sent me a script and he like, can you read it? And he was just texting me back to back. And I was like, okay, this is obviously important to him. So I said I was doing it. I was reading it. And then he was like, what does it mean to you? And I told him what it meant to me. And then I was like, okay, cool. And then it was probably like a couple of weeks later, he had asked me if I wanted to do audio for it. And I was like, of course. Like, obviously it's because I know Gary, but even if I didn't know Gary, like he's like so meticulous about things, like very precise. And like when he does something, it's not because he's doing it like just for like reason. It's like he's doing it because there's a purpose to it. And so he's just very particular, and I like that about him. And so I know if I'm a part of anything that Gary does, it's like it's gonna be good because he's very like, I tell you, like, you're an inspiration, man. Like, you think I'm funny, but you really are an inspiration.
Truly.
Like, if you say you're gonna do something, you do it, and like you mean it, and like you're a man of your word, and it's just like, I mean, I'm down with you forever, man.
I'm done with you.
No,
Now y'all making me cry.
No, right?
If you want me in the back, craft services, flipping pancakes, I'm there.
No, seriously.
I will be your butler.
I don't even do that.
I hold the
Not
boom.
craft
No,
services.
literally.
Not craft services.
There's no question. So yeah, it was Gary. That's why it was Gary.
No, it was all of us. No. Thank y'all.
Yeah, I thought I was passionate about film until I had about an hour conversation with Gary, and then I realized I got a long way to go. And it was essentially what drew me to the story. I mean, for me, it just felt a little too close to home. Like you had said, Gary, the things that were going on around this time, and looking back on that time frame, and just seeing everything going on around the country, and then coming to for me at least, coming into your own sexuality wise, coming to your own as a Black man in America, not knowing where your identity really fits. I was having that conversation with a friend who was interested in the film, and they said, what was your biggest challenge with Bryce's character? And I immediately said it just felt really close, because it seemed like he was trying to come into his own as a person, as a Black man in America, but you still have all these things going on around you where it's like, which way do I go? What can I do to still be, held to this certain standard where I'm acceptable, but I can still be myself and be comfortable. And, for everything that was going on, it felt really close to home. And as soon as I read, obviously the writing, as soon as I read the script, everything just felt uncanny. Nothing felt forced, even, from the audition to us meeting and everything. It just seemed like a smooth flow of how everything was supposed to go. And just going back to the story, I mean, that it's heavy thinking about it now. I think then I was so in it that I couldn't really process the outside looking in. But then when I look back on it and everything that was going on, I mean, it's heavier to watch and look at now and think on it now than it was thinking on it then, because we were just in it. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all that had just happened. And now just looking back on it, like we went through some stuff, but I'm just happy that I was able to be a part of it. And yeah, that's really what drew me to it.
All right. So Tyrone and Isaiah, I know you guys touched on how the roles were something that you kind of resonated with, but what exactly drew you into these roles? What made you want to play the roles that you all played? If there's a different answer from what you already said.
Uh,
Go ahead.
And also, how did you prepare for those roles?
I will say for me, if I don't know if this sounds cathartic. It just felt like I could play myself. It felt like I finally found something or a role, or based off the writing, based off the conversations I had with Gary, where it's like, I don't think I really feel like I have to act. I can just be me within this character and let the writing bring out, or let the writing flesh out the character, the sound of the character, and the story within itself. So for me, that's what was so important to me. It's like I didn't even feel like I had to try to act or try to do this crazy backstory or anything like that. It was just like I feel like I can finally play a big part of myself, and that's a great feeling for me, at least selfishly. That's just a great feeling where you don't feel like you have to go too outside of yourself. That's still fun and that's a part of the craft, but to be able to be with a character that's so close to home, and there's something you would wish you would have saw when you were younger. That's what I liked about the character. I don't know if you can second that, Tyrone, but that's what drew me to the character.
Absolutely, Isaiah. Like initially, like I said, like because the characters were gay, like initially I was looking at it through just like very rose-colored glasses, like, oh, these gay guys, like they live in a cottage. This is so cute. Like I want to do this. Oh my God.
Not cute.
Like they're going to see their mama, my mom. Like I feel like this is me. Like I go see my mom. Like this is like it just felt really close to home, and I felt like really just connected to it. Like the text, just Gary's writing, first of all, just is so like, I felt like these were things I would say, if that makes sense. So I was like, okay, like this is really cool. Like I would like to like be a part of this. And then when we actually started doing it, when I actually started having conversations with Gary, like there was another awakening, like, oh, there's another side to this. Like, this isn't just, they're not just going to have dinner with his mom. Like it was like one of those moments, but initially it was just like it felt like just really organic, just like from something from my own life almost. Like, so that was the initial drawing. But yeah.
Also, really, really quick thing. I just want to say kudos to you, Tyrone, because there was, and me and Maya talk about this, how our favorite shot in the film is when you take off that do-rag, and literally that was your idea. That was your idea, and that it's just it's so powerful. It's so
Beautiful.
subtle, but it's so powerful. And so yeah,
Literally.
yeah.
Okay, so we heard the perspective from the actors. So now we want to hear from you, Gary. So what was the inspiration behind the name of the film? What made you name it that? How'd you come up with that?
Okay, yeah. So, the funny thing is like when I was writing the film, I didn't have any idea about what the title of the film was gonna be. And I had originally the name that I had like put in as a placeholder was The Last Chance, the Last Chance, and that was based off of a Marvin Gaye song that I had heard when I was writing the film, and I had put into the playlist to kind of like get me in the headspace for the film. And I did, and the thing about it too is like I was just like, I don't want to throw in a random title. Like I really want to make sure that this title had some weight to it, and it really had some thought behind it. And I didn't come up with the title of the film until after we had shot and everything. And I was FaceTiming Maya one day, and I was like, hey, I still don't know what to call this film. Like, what do I call it? And I was thinking about like, maybe I should call it like, something French, maybe I should call it something French, but I don't know because like the film is not French. So why would I call it something French and everything? And she was like, well, why not? And I was like, I mean, you're right. I could do that. And so we were like, well, what are some words that we could use? What are some things that we could like? And I was like, I'm thinking numb. And so we looked up what numb meant, like how to say numb in French, and it was Engourdi. And it just stuck. And I felt like, yeah. And I feel like it's a really great title, and I'm happy about it. So yeah.
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 I would have never thought that that's where you got it from. So I'm glad that we get an answer to that. That's so funny. I love that. Okay, Andrew, we have a question for you. So I've been told that you've composed music for multiple films. So congrats to you. So where do you get your influence from when it comes to composing your music and choosing the music? What's your inspiration?
Honestly, I mean, besides a lot of it just comes from the script, and it really comes from, I guess, like a place of empathy, because I always try to put myself in the character's shoes and just kind of like, how would it, like, if this was me, how would the music sound? And that's where I usually start. But I mean, like, musical influences, I mean, just everywhere. Hans Zimmer, Christoph Beck, Junkie XL, John Williams, the list goes on. I could sit up here and talk about music for days. But as far as like each film that I score, like, I always just kind of put myself in the character's shoes and just kind of really be empathetic to its feelings and just kind of build a little universe from there. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's cool to hear, because I always wondered what that's like for someone who plays that role. So that's really cool to hear about. Thank you. Okay, Ryan. So we know that you're a filmmaker yourself. You know, you had your film about your mom shown at the Studio Movie Grill. I was there. I was fangirling. It was amazing. So, you know, knowing all that you know, what tips or advice would you give to aspiring filmmakers or anyone who wants to get started but doesn't know how, or what would you give? Or what's some advice you wish you would have had?
Tyrone was just really excited when he heard that you had a film shown at Studio Movie Grill. Yeah.
She's so
You know, I already stand you, Ryan.
Thank you.
It was funny, y'all.
So, oh my God.
Thank you, Tyrone.
I have the paparazzi pictures. I'll send them out.
Thank you.
Red carpet,
please.
Oh my gosh, no. But so like going into like college, like I had to be every single role, and that would qualify me as great. And in the end, it just overstretched me. The project was poo because I was doing every single role and I didn't need to. Like I was like, I'm director, I'm camera, I'm DP, I'm audio, I'm everything. And it was not needed to be that way. Like film is a group thing. I don't like group projects. I hate group projects. But with film, I love it because like it's just about trust. Like I know if I say, okay, Gary, DP my stuff, he's gonna do it good. If I say Maya, can you do audio? She's gonna get the correct audio. It's just about trust. And I just think a lot of people think that you have to be all these things in one, and you don't have to be. And so I would just say, like, get a group and trust them. Because I trust these people like so hard with like my work and everything. And so yeah. And also, like I said, like find a group of creatives, like whether it's through like Twitter. I did through Twitter. I met Ariana through Twitter, and we worked on projects together. Yeah. I met Lauren through Maya, and we worked on projects together. Like I met Gary through a friend. We worked on like it's just about like okay.
A lot.
Finding a group. Just find a group wherever you can. Just hold on to them because I promise you they're gonna get you the next step. It's not about you moving through like whatever. You need to, when you go up, you need to have people go up with you. It's not going up singular. And so yeah, just find your group. That's what I can say.
That is such good advice because I feel like a lot of people do feel like they have to do everything on their own. I mean, I feel like it's important to know, you know, have knowledge about different roles and, you know, different positions so you can do your own stuff. Or if someone tells you no, okay, I'm gonna go do it myself. But it really is important to be a team player. So I'm really glad you
if you don't have to do it.
Right. Exactly. And then also bringing people up with you because it's like it shouldn't be lonely at the top. Okay.
We should it should not. It is lonely at the top, but it shouldn't be.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be.
Okay, Maya. So we know that you are a writer and director, and this is your first time DPing a film, as you said before. So what did you do to prep for this role? Did you have any conversations with anyone? Did you research something? What did you do to prepare?
I talked to Gary a lot. I wanted to make sure I was fully prepared on getting his work and his vision, getting it the way that he wanted it. And that's what kind of really put me on the anxious edge, because usually when I'm writing or I'm directing something for me, it's all of my thoughts, my work. I know exactly where I want this camera, and it really gave me a lot of anxiety because what if I put this camera up, or is he gonna like the shot? And just really having a lot of conversation with him and letting me know that he trusted me completely with his vision, and he trusted my whole little college thing, all that knowledge I got from college. He trusted all of that, and I was like, okay. And that was really reassuring to have somebody on your side like that. And just literally reading a whole bunch of literature on female DPs, because you don't really hear that a lot. I never really heard of, much less a Black woman DP, but a female DP just in general. So just reading a lot of work on that and watching their work and studying what they do and how they move about in the industry, just connecting with those feelings and understanding, lining up my worth through that, of validating my own feelings through, oh, this path has already been paved for you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Gary, so we've heard about Maya's process and what she did to get into her groove. So what about you? So how did you come up with the film? What did you do to prepare in pre-production? Did you storyboard? What did you do? Did you get any help? Was it a solo thing?
Well, really quick, I just want to go back to Maya's question, just like how she prepared. I do want to say that just with the preparation, with working with Maya, just kind of figuring, just going up to her about this project, I knew that she would understand where, just aesthetically and just emotionally, how to carry it out. Me and her, we have this just really huge love of just French movies, and I knew that also she was a really big fan of what was the movie? I think it was.
Was it Breathless?
No, it was the one movie with the kids and the dad with the mustache. It's on Netflix.
We the Animals.
We the Animals, yes. And that was on the movie. Yeah. That was on the mood board. And that was also in the visual reel that I prepared a visual reel that I cut together, and I put it into one video, and I showed everybody, and just to get everybody on the exact same page, just as far as just okay, what are we going to, what are we aiming for? What is the how is the camera going to move? I felt like, okay, if Maya knows this, then Isaiah should know this, Tyrone should know this, Ryan should know this, we should all know how this is supposed to feel. Andrew should know this. I even with the music, I told Andrew, I was like, hey, I gave him examples of just different films that I knew that would give him some type of idea of where we were trying to go. And so I gave him music from the 400 Blows and some other films like First Man, just how those films were just very just quiet, and they didn't depend too much on music, but it was just very simple. I think the main thing that I learned as well just from this film was just the fact that I think that I really had a very, very, very specific vision, and I saw the film crystal clear. When we got on the set, I had the shot list on my iPad, and then when we started filming, I didn't pick up my iPad not once. I didn't look at the shot list not once, because I was I knew the film. I saw the film from beginning to end. I heard the film, and so when I was working with Andrew, I was like, I know what this film sounds like. You know what I mean? I know what the music sounds like. You know what I mean? So I think it's just also just I think the one thing I learned was just really making sure that before you dive into something, really see it and really sit with it and make sure you know what you're aiming for. And then when you get on that set, I guess maybe just throw it away and be like, okay, I know what I'm doing. So let's just go ahead. Let's go for it. And if people have different ideas, let them do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Ooh, that
such a
was
good point. That's
yeah.
such a good point, especially about being confident in what you know and what you prepared for, and trusting yourself to not need a guide. You have it within yourself, and to just be able to just do it.
Yeah.
So that was some little inspiration. Y'all take notes from that.
Mhm.
Okay, Tyrone. So what's interesting is that you have not acted in a film in a while, which is interesting because you did a great job. So what I want, but I also want to know too, though, I feel like with acting, especially because the fact that I am an actress as well, is that you don't have to be in a numerous roles back to back to back to still be a good actress or a good actor. I feel like that's what's either you have it or you don't. If it's in you, it's in you. It doesn't go away. You can, hone in on those skills, but if you're an actor and actress, that's who you are. So I applaud you. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, let's get into the actual question. So, what propelled you to want to get back into acting in the film? What was it about this film, or was it just something about you wanting to just get back into it? What was it that really just made you want to be part of this?
Okay. So I had been out of practice for a good, I'm embarrassed to say how long, but honestly, I had just been kind of going through the motions of life, just kind of, working, trying to save money, just like focused on a lot of different things that were not feeding me in the way that I needed to be fed. If you know what I mean? Like I was just really just focused on like very just really regular, just like everyday things, like trying to get like is my relationships okay? Like is my, like career outside of my creative ambitions, like what is going to like keep me off the streets, keep me from being homeless? So that kind of stuff. But what that was the drive. Like because I'm an artist. Like I want to create things. I'm a singer. I'm a writer. I'm a songwriter. I'm an actor. So I just really felt just like I was in this drought, and I just felt a lot of shame about it. And I was like, why am I feeling so much shame when I could literally just go, audition for stuff and literally just get back into it? Like, you know what I mean? And so I was just on backstage, just like submitting for everything, just like literally anything. Like I would submit for it. It didn't matter what it was. And Gary messaged me one day while I was at work, coincidentally, on break. And I responded to him instantly. And I like literally began working on the audition like that night. Like literally. Like I went home, I called my boyfriend, I was like, hey, I need you to come record me do this audition. He was in the audition. And we did it, and I sent it to him. But one thing I want to touch on, I felt like this experience was very humbling because I feel like as an actor, you really, really, once you do the work, like once you like, like get Isaiah, like once you do that like actual work where you work on the character, you set your circumstances, your actions, your objectives, all that, like all that stuff, you sometimes you can kind of like get in a rut, like, or you're really like holding on to it, like this is what I set for myself, like this is. But when I got to the set, not even when I got to the set, when I met everyone at Maya's house, I felt myself let that go. Like I felt like, okay, this is a safe environment. Like I'm just gonna take Gary's direction. I'm gonna keep what I have in the back of my mind. Like it's gonna be there, but I'm just gonna take his direction. I'm gonna feed off of Isaiah and Ryan and Maya's energy and just be present. So I don't know if I answered your question.
You answered the question. And since you're back at it, you need to stay at it. So, what roles are you attracted to? What roles would you be excited to do in the future or look forward to?
Um, um, I would love to play more gay people.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like I would love to like. I think representation is important. I had this conversation with Gary a lot, and honestly, I feel like that's where those are the stories I want to tell. And I don't want to limit myself to that, of course, but like honestly, I want to tell stories of Black gay people, to put it frank and simply.
I mean, people say that, the best stories, you tell the best stories when you resonate with it, you feel like it's something that
Absolutely.
you can relate to. So I definitely encourage you to do that. Don't stop. We believe in you. We're proud of you. And so I kind of want to piggyback. We're not going to use that no more. Kind of want to transition to Isaiah and ask you a similar question. You know, what kind of roles would you be interested in the future and why?
Roles I'll be interested in the future. I would definitely say more relatable roles. You know, as an actor, no matter the color of your skin, I would assume that you would want to push yourself variety wise and have, you know, a variety of skills where you're not limiting yourself. But even to back Tyrone, you know, I've had auditions before where it may have been a gay character or something like that, or something in regards. But it just never felt comfortable. It never felt like, and even things that I would see on through media, I just never felt like gay Black men, queer Black men, or queer men in general were never represented the right way. And again, I look at some things where it's like, if my 6-year-old self would my 6-year-old self be proud to see this? Would my 6-year-old self be inspired to see this? And if it's a no, then it's not something I'm really interested in. And being able to do this project and hopefully future projects that can somewhat be that light, be that thing that any other 6-year-old Black boy or girl can go and look at and be like, that's me, or I can be that, I have a chance. You know, that's something that I definitely want to be a part of. So it's hard to say which particular roles. I definitely have genre favorites, but I just want to do roles that, again, inspire that 6-year-old me, along with so many, you know, other young Black girls and boys, that you can be what you want. You can do what you want. You can be the comedic genius or the most dramatic actor ever. You know, you can still do whatever you put your mind to. So that's something I'm definitely trying to just aspiring to do.
Great answer.
Yes.
Okay, Andrew, on to you. So if you could sit down at dinner with a composer, who would it be and why? One answer only. Wrap it around. You get 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Ludwig.
Ooh, he's nice. He's nice. I think. Why'd you throw him in the mix? I'm gonna have to go with Hans Zimmer, only because like he's just first of all, he's done over 100 movies, so there will be like an endless conversation. And I just feel like when you look at film music, there's kind of like a pre-Hans era and a post-Hans era. Like he's really like a staple. And like I said earlier, he just kind of kicked it off for me. So I just kind of want to be like, what made you do that? You know, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? You know, just ask him a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah, drilling with questions. Cool. Maya, do you see yourself DPing more in the future?
I just see myself DPing more. I would love to break out into the industry but I'd have to say my heart would stay with writing and directing. That's just where I feel the most comfortable in my abilities. But I really appreciated this because it did open an avenue for me. Now I know I am able to do this, and I am able to do it well, and hone in on these skills and possibly use them in the future for, you know, to spread out my, you know, my palette a little bit. Yeah.
So speaking of the future, what can we expect from you in the future?
What?
Tell us a little bit.
That's crazy. You can expect me exploring a lot of themes in my films that revolve around the Black youth and us finding an avenue to view ourselves in like a coming of age kind of way outside of like the realms of tragedy and drugs and baby mama drama. That's not what I am. That's not who I see my people as. And I think we deserve simple stories that kind of reflect the beauty of our culture and allow us to see ourselves in like a normal standpoint. You know, we're normal people. We don't wake up and say, oh, I'm oppressed. You know, I'm tired. I'm sad. You know, we don't wake up every day and think that. And I feel like since film is such an escape and, you know, people use it to step outside of themselves, we deserve those monumental points of viewing where we can just feel like, hey, okay, yeah, maybe I can. You know, a lot of foreign languages. I love foreign languages. I'm finding out my love for foreign language. So expect you know, beauty and traveling and kids being kids.
I'm excited to see it. Ryan, you know I'm asking you the same thing. What can we expect from you, ma'am?
Not her being frozen.
You're right. I'm like, is she right? So she don't want to answer the question, clearly.
Wait, what happened?
I feel disrespected, Ryan. I'll repeat it. I said, no, I'm just kidding. I said, what can we expect from you in the future?
Oh Lord.
That
I'm
is
not getting
correct.
my
I felt
business
that.
out in the street.
Okay. Well, just a little snippet.
So I'm trying to like figure out, it's not hard. There's not one way of like being a director. There's not like you do this, you fill out this job application and you're a director. It's like people have different avenues of doing it. And so I've realized that commercial directing is like directing is kind of a way to like navigate through that and eventually get a name for myself and then go into features and shorts and all that stuff. And so right now I'm just working on spec commercials. Like I'm working on the Levi spec commercial. Do more stuff like that to get my name out there.
I love it.
So,
You dropped that on us at the end.
Yeah, and then I finished my first feature screenplay and I'm in the middle of a rewrite and I'm just trying to, after I did, I'm apply for grants so I can get it made. I just want to do it right. Yeah, it's gonna take a process. It's gonna be a process, but I'm gonna get it done.
Enjoy the process. We're happy for you, Ryan. I can't wait to see it, read it, all the above. All right, so we're winding down. Gary, the moment we've all been waiting for is we want to know, where can we expect to see Engourdi, and where can we expect to see it? When, where, how? Give us a
yeah. So I'm thinking, so right now we're still doing our festival run right now, where it's kind of like we're on a little bit of a break right now because I'm still waiting to hear back from some festivals. But I'm thinking that it's going to be July where we're going to officially like release it out to the public, onto YouTube, out onto Twitter, Instagram, everything like that. So people should be able to expect it around that time. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you all for taking the time out of your hectic schedules to speak with me. And I'm excited to see how you all do later in the future, what you all accomplish, because you all are very talented and amazing people. For the fans out there, I'm one of them. Please look forward to the film. Follow the Twitter at Engourdi Film and Kevro Studios on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Something like that.
Wait, keep going.
I love Black people. Oh my
God. Choir.
I love Black people.
I'm obsessed.
Shout out John Williams, Johnny Boy.
That's the theme music to my life, y'all. Like,
that's the thing. What?
That's the theme music to my own life.
Johnny Boy.
That was sick. That was amazing.
Like, that's what
Thank
I
you
hear.
for that.
Like,
thank you for that, for real.
thank you, Andrew.
Yes.
Now play Moonlight score.
Can you do that? Can you do that?
No,
Fucking cry a little bit.
I was gonna say, whoa.
No, don't make me get the poster off the wall.
It's a little bit complicated. Dude, that's a phenomenal score too, dang. Yeah.
That's amazing.